So you really want to honor on getting that additional lesser.
And there is, you know, I don't know how to communicate that to the customers, to the community. But to have, for Morgantown, for as small a town as Morgantown is throughout the state of Indiana, to have captured for itself 25% of all the unforgivable, or the forgivable debt that exists, that is available. I mean, you know, people are going to be upset that their water rates are going up. Nobody likes to see a rate increase. We all hate that. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you have, or where you live, or how much water you use, or anything else. Nobody wants a rate increase. And the folks here are going to get one. You have to do it because you open your turn costs, and then you get, you know, stuff that kind of looks like this. And so you got to do it. But the rate increase is so much smaller than what it would have been had these agencies not been so preferential to Morgantown. And Steve does a really good job at getting this stuff. And, you know, he's spewing out all these numbers tonight and explaining why the rate increase needs to be what it is, but behind the scenes, he has advocated for Morgantown. And, you know, all of you, I think, need to understand that. And all of you that are here, I hope, do. But when the conversation comes out on the sidewalk about, my rates went up, and I don't want to you need to understand it well enough to be able to say, yes, but listen to this part. We got $2 million, and we got $500,000 of it that we don't have to pay back. And we got it instead of dozens of other communities around the state who wanted it. And we got the most favorable financing that exists. And folks really do need to understand that. I mean, and it's not so much for you guys to take credit for it as it is to make them understand that Morgantown really got dealt a good hand here. In part because of your efforts, in part because of his efforts, but in part because this community really needs it. You know, the bad news is you've had bad water for a long time. You're really in bad shape on your water utility. Those who have come before haven't taken care of it like they might have. So people have suffered with bad water for a long time. The good news is because people let it get so bad, you're bleeding worse than other communities. And the Band-Aids that they have available, you got a great big free Band-Aid because you had the worst wound. And folks need to understand that. I mean, not for elections or votes or popularity or anything else, but because that's just the truth. And be appreciative to the state agencies and federal funded agencies who made this money available. I mean, it really, there's a lot of folks sitting around council rooms around the state in bad shape that don't have this money. They're not going to get this money. And they're not going to get it because you got it instead. And that's a big, big deal. It really is.
Half your project paid for?
Right.
I know, trust me, I know. So,
Could I say something?
public comments at the end of the meeting, sir. Okay, thank you. So the thing we need to do then is to go ahead and adopt this ordinance first reading. First reading.
So the ordinance is 2015-9, and it's an ordinance amending the schedule of rates and charges for the town of Morgantown water utility. It's essentially the same ordinance with the same language that we adopted with the rate increase last time. The difference is under section 1, where the schedule of rates appears, we now have a different set of numbers that Steve just explained are the 5-year rates as projected or as calculated in his rate study that he just presented. We talked about the 1, 3, 5, 7-year rates. The 5-year rates are what you would be adopting on first reading tonight, introduction first reading. They will be advertised and noticed for a public hearing that we need to approve this ordinance too. Now, you intend for that to be at our November meeting, or you want to have a public hearing sooner than that?
Well, the
Do
public
you think
hearing,
that would be soon enough?
the public hearing would probably hold this.
We don't need to.
We don't need to. We can have it before.
We gotta have 10 days notice, so we gotta have about 2 weeks. We don't have to wait till November.
I would suggest
If I can make a
We
suggestion.
need to know more about it.
Yeah, if the council would entertain suspending the rules and passing the ordinance all in one reading, then we could schedule the public hearing after the construction bids come in.
That's
So
right, we
we'll-
have to, we won't know the numbers.
Yeah,
Well,
and then
here's-
we'd still have to be able to keep our schedule if you can.
Here is their timetable, the new timeline. November 5th is when we open bids. 10/26, they advertise the first time. 10/29 is our pre-bid meeting with the contractors. 11/2 is the second advertised
Yeah,
bid.
that's right.
And 11/5 will open bids. So we have a council meeting on the 2nd.
But Steve will need some time after we open the bids,
Yeah.
on the numbers to tell us what the rates need to be, so we really need to have a public hearing a couple of weeks after that.
After the
Even a
5th.
week after, I could do it a week.
Okay.
Because we have to close by, we don't have to close by the 19th, well, we have to close by.
But the process, after we get the construction bids in, is I've got to file the due diligence to state law in a month. And they generally ask for 30 days before they call the pre-closing. And generally I can squeeze them down to a week or two. And that's my plan on doing that. Since they pushed us to try to close as quickly as possible to keep the money, I want to try to file the due diligence as soon as possible after we open the construction bids. And then they'll set the pre-closing date and the closing date. And then I don't really care because it's up to them on when they close, because we kept our promise and done this as soon as we can. But given that and how it affects you is public hearing date, and I would say maybe a week after you open construction bids, because when you open construction bids, it takes a little bit of time for engineers to review them and make a recommendation for you, so that's maybe a couple days. It's me a couple days to put the numbers together and put the format together to file. And due diligence is maybe 2 inches thick at a time. It's not just this. So if you give you a week after that, for the public hearing, and you can also set a council meeting afterwards in which you can adopt. That would be the schedule already.
Yeah, is a week comfortable?
A week's comfortable.
So November 12th,
November 12th will be our
for
public
a
hearing.
public hearing on proposed rates.
Is that okay or no?
You want to make it like the 14th or something, just to give a little breathing room?
I
You don't
really
seem
like.
to be a real board, sit around and things to do here lately.
I'd like the 12th because then the 13th, what date's the 12th?
Not Thursday.
You don't want to do
I thought, no, I'm thinking the 5th is our meeting, but it's
No,
not.
the
That's the
2nd's our
bid.
meeting.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the 2nd's
Yeah,
our
I
meeting.
assumed it was a Thursday.
The 12th is a Thursday.
Okay, then I can file the due diligence on Friday because I would know what the rates are, if you can recommend having an accepted class. If you would approve it, then I could file the diligence on Friday and then they would have,
On the 13th, you
on
file.
the 13th, I would file with the state law and the information. And it would be done, everything else is up to them.
And then we don't need to do it tonight, but then we might then on the 12th, or any time after that, we could schedule a special meeting for adoption of the rates as adjusted based on the bids and how Steve recommends that we adjust them down and then adopt this.
So the 12th, then we'll have a public hearing the 12th, correct? And do you want to do that morning, noon, afternoon?
You could do the same time you have your meetings. I think.
Steve doesn't, I mean, you're welcome to be here, he doesn't necessarily, he just needs the numbers.
Oh, okay, so.
Or we need the numbers.
We need the numbers.
We need the numbers,
We
but
need the numbers.
it's a matter of taking an ordinance like this and holding a public hearing.
Okay.
And closing a public hearing, and so,
I generally attend the public hearing just so you don't have to explain the need for the rate increase.
well, that's right, I mean, but yeah, at the end of that public hearing, we just adopt.
I was going to say,
That's right,
we have a
yeah, we
special
will.
meeting
Right.
after the public hearing.
Well, it can just be all be a part of a special meeting.
Oh, okay.
So the 12th, at whatever time of day we meet with council members.
You're on that, I think. I'm off that day. You're on that day. You're off that day. You're working. We'll talk about it. We'll let you know,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah,
We will
okay.
definitely be on the 12th.
But in the ordinance tonight, I do want to identify that date, so we would have
Okay.
15-9. Well, actually, no, that's going to be filled in after the hearing. So all we're doing tonight is introducing this with the rates that are proposed as the 5-year rates as presented in Steve's rate study. And it would be introduced this evening
reading.
15-9 is
Just first
presented.
reading. First reading only. Is there a second? Okay, discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, so it's first reading only. So pick that up then. Thank you. We are so, I mean, when you said we got it at the full $500,000, I couldn't believe it. I mean, that is just, he said we hit the lottery. We hit the lottery. I mean, that's just, yeah. Okay. Well, you don't have to say that.
But also, one last thing, just to pat myself on the back, is there are rate consults that I do that will tell you if the state law of one fund is not happening. To prove to you.
You proved them wrong. You proved them wrong. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Following up on that, the stormwater grant was submitted in full, and that's another $1 million that we'll be receiving, hopefully, if it's approved, and not impact rates at all. There'll be no impact on that $1 million. The wellhead protection plan is to be submitted Monday, the 12th, to IDEM. They'll review it. Hopefully, they won't have any changes. By the November meeting, we'll have adoption wellhead protection plan. Okay, do you want to do your bond thing now? Okay, we're in that vein.
I have here what is a 50-page, 60-page bond ordinance. The refinancing of the waterworks projects for the town, sort of continuing on what Steve just discussed, was we are incurring some indebtedness, right, to pay for these improvements. And when utilities incur debt, like, folks like us go to a bank and borrow money, what municipalities do is sell bonds. And that's how money is raised. So municipal bonds, you may all be familiar with municipal bonds as a security, a form of investment that appeal to people because they're tax exempt. And they tend to be very marketable. But they also represent kind of the only way, or one of the very few ways that government entities raise money to pay debt. And in some cases, they're tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. And in our case, for our standards, it's a great big number. But relative to bond indebtedness on a large scale, it's relatively small. In any case, in order to offer bonds for sale to third parties to raise the money, you have to adopt an ordinance to incur the indebtedness and to offer for sale bonds, the issuance of bonds. And along with that, there has to be an opinion from a qualified bond counsel that will represent to the purchasers of these bonds that they are in fact municipal bonds, that they are tax exempt, that they are backed by the revenue of the utility that is receiving, in this case, the Morgantown water utility. And adopt a form of the bond and a procedure by which they are being sold and a procedure by which they will be paid, which is consistent with this notion of the January and July payments. So this all aligns itself. But when we talk about SRF and the financing we're receiving, the debt part of that is being paid back. But it's being paid back in the form of bonds that are being sold, but ultimately replenish the coffers of SRF. So estimating what the project might be. We're talking about 2.1 million, I think, when these numbers were kind of presented, and we're anticipating some project amendments. We've sort of like setting the higher rates and then hoping to adopt lower ones. We're authorizing sort of a maximum amount that we can sell, but based on everything we discussed tonight, we don't think we're going to end up selling bonds in that amount. Also authorized in this would be the issuance of short-term bond anticipation notes should money be needed before the bonds can be sold. We talked about this at a prior meeting, thinking that we're going to have to sell bond anticipation notes in order to raise some money to pay the engineering costs, so we could get to the point that we could actually get the money from SRF to proceed the project. Again, with a lot of credit to Steve Brock and Joel. And speedy responses by Westler, too. We're going to be able to kind of close the loan earlier than we thought, and soon enough that the loan proceeds can be used to pay the engineering fees without having to do this short-term note. Another example of something that has fallen really, really well as the project has proceeded. So, this bond ordinance has been identified as 2015-10. It will authorize the indebtedness, authorize the issuance of, I think, what are called Series A municipal bonds for up to $2,350,000. The bond ordinance requires that the bonds be redeemed over, I think, what is their 20-year term. It provides an opinion that the interest on the bonds will be tax exempt. It requires a reserve account, a sinking fund, as some of those items we saw on Steve's report, where you have to have debt coverage of 1.25%. We have to have enough money that we can cover our bond payments. We have to have on hand 1.25% or 125% of each bond payment, each loan payment as we go, to make sure that there's plenty of money there and that these bonds are safe. It's a pretty safe investment for folks because of this process. There are instructions to our clerk treasurer on how these bonds have to be paid. Depository agreements on the sinking fund, where the money has to be deposited and kept so that we know it's there, akin to an escrow account, paid in advance of the due date of each of the payments. And some procedures and rules for accounting. We covenant and agree in this ordinance that we'll adopt rates that will be sufficient to service the debt. Not only are we doing it in the other ordinance, but we're agreeing in this ordinance that we're going to charge rates that are high enough. Again, because if you're looking at somebody who is thinking about buying a municipal bond, or you're a broker who's collecting a bunch of municipal bonds and packaging them together and putting them in part of a mutual fund that gets sold to investors wherever those people might be, you've got to have a certain credibility behind the bonds that makes them marketable. So that's what this ordinance does. Does that make sense? Is that enough of an explanation, or are you sitting there wishing I'd shut up about 10 minutes?
Well, I think we're going to call for a motion.
So, well, the idea of reading a 60-page order, somebody wants to do that, but this is pretty important stuff. And the other thing that I think is important too is when rates get increased and the debt gets incurred and water towers go up in the air, and you see people taking interest in that stuff because it's very visible. And so I think to offer more explanation rather than less, and make it as well known as we can what it is we're doing is important. And so I maybe talk more than you might want. So this is 2015-10. It is an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of the improvements and the issuance of self-revenue bonds to provide funds for the payment and for bond anticipation notes, I guess, to the extent we would need them. This also will authorize the refunding of that $92,000 debt that we have hanging that we talked about with Steve too. That this ordinance will authorize that being done. And so present this to you on first reading tonight, October 5th, 2015.
Ordinance 2015-10
On first reading.
I'll second it. Walter got the second before I did. Okay, is there discussion? I mean, this is just necessary. It's a necessary part of the deal. We can't go without it, so.
We can't ultimately close and secure the money without a bond ordinance that does all of the things I just said, and this is it.
Okay, so all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we'll move on. We have the minutes. The minutes were distributed for the regular meeting, the public hearing, and the special meeting. Were there any additions or corrections? If not, those minutes stand approved as submitted. We have financial reports. Sharon, we'll look at the fund report first. Anybody have any questions on the fund report? Okay. Revenue. Anybody have any questions on the revenue report? Any questions on the revenue report? Okay. Appropriation report. Now this one, in our November meeting, will have the resolution for the state, right?
To adjust this year's
Yeah,
budget.
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll work on that.
I remember to do it.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So, yeah, let me assure you.
Okay, payroll. Is there a motion to accept payroll?
Motion to accept payroll.
Second? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Okay, appropriations. Everybody have a chance to look, or accounts payable? Everybody have a chance to look at that? Any questions? Is there a motion to approve accounts payable register?
Motion to approve accounts payable register.
Okay, is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Okay.
Excuse me, while you're on that, AL Electric who fixed the well bore after the pole broke, that happened right as she was closing out on accounts payables.
Okay.
And his bill was $850 to AL Electric, which is Aaron Ever, out of Martinsville. I requested the council to approve that.
Okay. Hang on a minute, okay.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, Sharon, you have your resolution for adoption on budget for next year? Okay, and this is the same one you presented every year, right?
and left alone, did they go through? Thank you.
They didn't cut us?
Should ask for more.
We haven't heard anything from the county, so
Yeah, they had a county meeting tonight.
I thought it was very much October.
Oh, they should have. No, I think it's October. I don't know. Anyway.
For some reason, I thought it was.
Okay, well,
The hearing, if it's.
okay, is there a motion to accept the ordinance resolution, or the resolution
And
for
then
adoption?
2015-11, and
2015-11? Okay. Motion, is there a second? I'll make a motion, is there a second? All in favor say aye. Okay.
oh,
Okay.
did I steal your number? You could have, I could have made the other ones 10.
Okay, Becky?
Okay, I have two wastewater adjustment requests. We'll start with the first one. Mr. Fields is here tonight. He spoke with Jeff, and he felt that it was presented wrong at the council. So he would like for you guys to reconsider the request for the wastewater adjustment. It in fact was an underground fitting, a reducer, which broke, that caused the leak. Right?
Are you talking about wastewater or water test?
This would be wastewater.
Wastewater.
Yeah, this would be wastewater, but it was, the leak was caused.
Oh, yeah, this is.
This is the one,
Didn't get into
this is the one that it was presented as a spigot last month, and it was, well, you can't do the spigot because the spigot's out there visible. It was just, the term was used wrong.
Okay.
He had prior had a leak that like a year or two ago, I believe it was. Yeah, that he repaired, and it's leaking at the same spot. So it's underground, it's not, it wasn't above ground. It was
We're credited back to sewer, huh?
Yeah, it's two wastewater, not water, and the amount's $187.24. And I did include in here, this month's bill, which you can see that it's fixed, it's back.
Make a motion to credit, back credit for the sewer to 187.24.
Is there a second? I'll second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, opposed, same sign, no opposition. The next one, what else?
The next one is 259 Church Street. He didn't tell me, all he said was he had a leak. Here it says about 8 foot from the meter. The amount requested would be $50.73, and it is. His read is back to normal.
Back to normal.
Yes.
That we did have, I did have to go check all of it. The leak was about 50 feet or so on the side of it.
Okay.
Make a motion to credit back to 5073.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Okay, and I have one more thing. According to our ordinance, 2012-5, the yard sprinkler pool credit, it should have been on this month's bill, but it did not. And I called Keystone, and, it shuts off in August. So
You mean the credit should run farther into
it
the
should run
summer.
in, this is the last time it should go. So I will actually have to manually adjust the bills. It is 6 people who are affected, and I'm just asking the board's approval to go in and do these adjustments. I didn't have time to get the numbers and the people, I mean, I have them, but they're not printed out.
Can you get Keystone to change that then too?
I can, yes. They said that wasn't a problem, we could go and fix it, but since it's already printed, unless I wipe the system and reprint the bills, it could be a big mess. I'll just have to manually adjust.
Okay, is there a motion for her to go ahead and make those adjustments on the sprinkler credit?
Make a motion to adjust the sprinkler credits.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Can I say real quick, I want to make sure we're clear on how these adjustments work. On a water adjustment, water, the only way you have discretion is that statutory language I pointed out to you at the last meeting we visited a couple of times in the past, but this idea that the bill has to be unusually large, and then it has to be twice the normal. And it has to be a leak that could not have been detected underground, something that wouldn't have been obvious, or that would require some excavation or something to fix, I think. So it's only when those criteria are met that you can even consider whether to get a water credit. And you wouldn't have to, but you kind of have to clear those hurdles before you can even look at it. On wastewater credits, none of that's relevant to wastewater. And so the way I always look at wastewater credits is if the water that leaked is water that did not find its way into our wastewater system, then Jeff didn't receive it down at the lagoon. Jeff didn't handle it, treat it, and we didn't spend any money on it. It ended up in the ground somewhere. And so if it didn't end up in our wastewater system, you still don't have to give credit. But to me, that's the basis on which you ought to consider a credit, is whether this is water that we ever got into our system. And not really anything else. And so I just want to make sure that the criteria for one doesn't influence your decision with regard to the other.
No, I don't think it. I think that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I haven't confused it by talking about it in text.
No, I think that we're only doing wastewater and it's only if it's, yeah. Okay, Mr. Downey, your department report. We do have a request from Mr. Downey for 850. Was that exactly what it was on your electric bill?
Yes, it was.
850.
On the labor, yes.
That's his bill was 850.
Yeah.
$850 to pay the electrician who was so wonderful to come and fix well 4 so that the electric could you can hire, hook it back up, and the engineers can look at well 4.
Make a motion that we go ahead and pay that bill.
Second. Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Mr. Downey, what do you got?
Just to clarify a few things, which obviously it's been kind of a madhouse, like you knew, trying to deadline for $500,000, so it's going to be split and missing on what's been done.
You've got some new best friends.
Yeah.
Adam,
Yeah. And this was recommended by the engineers on both sides, but just so we get this out of the way, the siren, which is currently on the tower, it is suggested that, of course, we're going to have a chemical feed running where the old tower's at, put the siren on a, which wants to do a telephone pole, and we're going to leave it on the other side. Everybody have a problem with that? Wiring and everything else, if we shoot a shot over to the new tower. Truthfully, according to the engineers, nobody gets put in the sirens, warning sirens on the new tower.
Nobody's putting them on.
Board doesn't have a problem with that?
No problem.
Okay. Of course, the good news on well 3 is we discussed that last meeting.
Yeah. We're going to be able to re-sleeve it.
Yes.
So what you mean?
Yeah, because it's 12 inch, not 8 inch, so it's going to be.
I don't think that was at the last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah. I get confused. We've had so many meetings with those engineers.
And then, we're going to try to figure out how to rehabilitate, I'm not saying rehabilitate, because the building not much to rehabilitate, other than a little plumbing work on putting a chemical feed site out at well 4 itself and feed it through pumps directly into the main. And again, I know that's why it was changed in the first place, because it was going to the main, but it's just probably going to be set up that way to be able to use service as a backup well. So there won't be broad space, like we have to be brought up online.
So you won't have a booster station out there?
No.
And well, but it will have chemical feed of,
Yeah, at that location.
Will it be heating in the main all the time, or will you
No,
just do it when there's a main
emergency situation. Now, that is depending on what kind of pressure we get, because it hooks and ties into what we want here. And we still got to do some testing.
And is it the pressure in the line that it's feeding into, that pressure will just carry it to the tower? Just what it's being injected into, or does it have some pressure of its own?
Well, that's what we're going to determine.
Oh, okay. That is the question.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of interesting.
Of course, she's reviewed this with the contracts and everything else. It's just done a walkthrough with the engineers twice. Mainly working on locating services that are going to be affected by the new main locations. And she discussed contractor information altogether, utility contractors on that. Try to go personal numbers for them directly, but and she's indicated one of the big
I do believe also, if I remember, it's hard to remember, that I don't think that we're going to have any more 3/4 inch lines. They're all going away, aren't they?
Well,
I think that's, I thought that's what I understood.
well, because
Yeah.
the main lines are going to go, I mean, the service lines still.
No, I don't mean service lines, I mean lines that feed to
Oh,
service
yes,
lines.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
it's
No, the main,
unbelievable, isn't it?
mains
You
will
get
all
a
be.
3/4 inch
Are there
line.
some now?
Yeah,
Well, I think we will have some on the still.
That's really small.
it is, I mean, if you think about it against
Yeah.
any kind of building, yeah. Anyway, I thought that was.
Now, then we have chemical feed going, there's going to put a divider in there, which needs to be in there to divide the chlorine and all that from getting into the electrical boxes. Another thing discussed is that on the interior of the building, we're going to repaint all the interior pipes. Everything is going to have to replace the door and everything. That wasn't in part of the, I mean, it's in the scope of the project, but it was not a line item. But other than that, we build Duke and generators and all that. And we're probably going to give us some money on the generator system. Right now, all the pumps kick on at one time, and phases where we can use a smaller generator, so it's not such a load on the generator. This one gets on, and then so later this one gets on, and so later this one gets on. So there, got some corners there. This is the cost. Other than that, some storm drains, this and that. Yeah.
Okay, now I have a couple of items to go with the DPW. IBM wants all of their reports filed electronically. And our computer that we have in it won't do it. It just won't do it. It's embarrassing. So anyway, I have two options here, or I've been out working on this. There is a Toshiba 15-inch laptop with Windows 10. Normally sells for $399, and I'm getting it for $279. And I'd like approval to buy two of those, and a wireless all-in-one printer. So it prints, scans, and copies. Normally $89.99, I'm getting that for $49.99. And Chad White, I talked with him, and he will take care of it when they come in, and get them all signed up. They doesn't include any office or anything like that, so we'll probably have another $400 in hardware, or in software. So it'll be less than right around $1,000, no more than $1,000. We can take it out of CCI, which wouldn't impact anybody, and that's not a budget fund, is it, Sharon?
CCI used to be better.
Oh, we did? Okay. Okay, well, anyway, we have 6,700 in there. And we showed spending that this year, didn't we?
Yeah, but see if we get a resolution to show what we have.
Well, we haven't done that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
this
can
would be
spend
spent
whatever.
before. Yeah, I think that we appropriated all of that in CCI.
So we want to pay for it out of CCI.
And that's a good place to take it.
I'll make a motion to spend up to $1,000 on computers and software.
I don't Okay, yeah, we budgeted $4,100 to spend that, so we'll be okay. Okay, notion to spend up to $1,000 on two laptops and a printer for, this way you'll also be able to do the water, just working on his water license. So, is it, second, discussion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Okay, Mr. Downey has not had an increase, and I want to talk about an increase for Mr. Downey. According to my records, June of 2013. Might have been July, but I think it was June. June is his, may have been effective July.
How much? What do you think? What are these?
Or one behind, so like,
Two, three.
so 5 to 6. What do you guys say?
Make a motion that we get down to 5% pay increase.
Okay. Is there a second? I'll second that. Okay, discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. And then when you get your water license. Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Town marshal? Come on.
Okay, did you get your report in?
No, sir. Oh, it's right here. I'm sorry.
Okay, total calls last month were 37, up from 29 the previous month. The county took 9 on top of that for us. Top 5 call types were, we had 6 motor vehicle crashes, 5 medical runs, 3 agency assists, 2 drug calls, and 2 citizen disputes. Most of the rest of the calls tied with 2 calls. citations were 7, of which 1 was an ordinance violation and 6 state statute, and 17 warnings issued. The only thing I really have tonight is the reserve part of 07 needs an alternator. It's 1975. So I need approval from the council to get that fixed.
Mr. Carworth.
More than that.
Much more than that?
Well, not a whole lot, but
What's
I mean, it's at 151,000 miles, and the transmission is starting to slip on takeoffs. Whitaker advised on the transmission, the money would cost to scope and go into it would be the same as if it just broke down and quit. So he said just write it out and let it go out, and it's not going to be any more cost. It costs, over $1,000 just to look at it, because it's got to be taken out for now. The Impala's notorious for that. That initial takeoff and slipping. Seems like there's one that got off with it.
How many reserve cars you got? Two?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a long,
Is there a motion to replace the alternator in the 07 reserve car?
Make a motion to replace the alternator.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, I notice on your report that we have an officer with very little activity again. Do you have totals for the year on that?
I do. I bring them to every meeting, actually. I have it broke down into total actions. As of right now, as of this meeting, the total for myself is 106. For Officer Connors, 9. And Officer Swank, 157.
And that involves all the categories you have on your report that you do?
Yes.
Arrests, citations, ordinance violation, and state statutes and warnings?
Yes, that's all included in that.
Okay. So was this inactivity the reason for the suspension?
It was. I had to.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have anything else for town marshal? Move on to oh, you were busy today, calling for sirens all day.
Yeah, it's been like that the past 7 days, I swear. It's been call after call after call. I don't know. I don't know if it's because that recent blood moon we had or, I don't know.
It's been that wasn't. Okay, old business.
Back on DPW. Once you start that.
Yeah, that's what Sherry said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we
you
did.
into the next starting.
2017, I guess.
Next page, you said. You
Next
wanna,
paper, next to the next paper.
you wanna,
So you mean when I take them this Friday, the 5% will be in it, or is that what you mean? This week? Okay. All right.
okay.
We do this in the salary ordinance then.
Yeah, we'll revise
And we're
that.
gonna have to do it right.
Okay, I didn't have any old business. Anybody have any old business? I didn't have any new business. We've had enough new business here. Okay, well, for public comment?
What I wanted to say a while ago was that I had a toilet that wouldn't shut off the valve, and I took the valve apart, and it had a pyramid-shaped stone in it that had come through the water meter, about a quarter of an inch, and it kept from stuck in the valve, wouldn't let it shut off. So I need a better screen or something on the tank.
Well, in your area, there's one area that you're getting a lot of new lines.
I didn't understand you.
The area where you are up there,
Right up the street.
yeah, they're getting a lot of new mains in there. So it'll be
I know.
Clean the water coming through.
I get some mighty dirty water every once in a while.
Okay.
Are there any new wells being dug in this project?
No,
No new wells?
not at this time. Pardon?
No new wells?
Well, we are, well number 3, we're re-sleeving. It's our best water well, best producing well. It had a hole in the sleeve, so we're re-sleeving. It's actually 12 inch and we don't use an 8 inch. So that, and they're cleaning the screens in all of them, and then we're rehabbing well 4. We did a test well, and we did not not have sufficient water to get a new well.
Yeah, we did explore the option of a new well, which encompassed and fell in with that grant cycle and everything, but that did not work out.
There used to be a well right across the street there.
You know, the problem is,
On Walker Avenue was.
yeah, there's a bunch of them, there's a bunch of wells in town. The problem with the wells is that IDEM has changed their criteria. And it's just like when we initially talked with them, we thought we were going to be able to build a new well, or drill a new well up here where we have our wells now. They won't let us. You have to have 100-foot circumference all the way around that well, that there is nothing. And so that's why we can't drill a new well where our best water is. They won't let us. They shut it down.
That's not the reason I came here tonight.
Actually, the reason we came here tonight was an issue with,
Well, what I came here for was, I had a sewer put in a while back. I paid the guy $600 to dig 35 feet of line, ditch, and like 50 feet of pipe we got bought. So he never finished the job. He was there about 2 hours. Kind of an unscrupulous sewer contractor, and I thought he might be back in the fall, but he didn't get the ditch filled in, and holes in the yard, people could step in and twist an ankle or something.
and he was recently cited by the town for high grass and things. But the fact of the matter remains is,
I got a letter threatening me with a $300 fine on account of the job he didn't do.
Have you filed against it?
well,
Have you filed against it?
the problem being is my mom and dad have many health problems, and they have renters, and they did not let my mom and dad know that there was an issue with the ground that, from the work that had been done, and then they didn't maintain it, and so the city got involved, and they, I don't know how many letters were sent to the renters before my mom and dad got the letter saying that they had 10 days or a $300 fine. Luckily, my brother and I were able to get that taken care of on our days off. But the fact of the matter remains is if it had been completed properly, it wouldn't have happened. But also, what's the percentage of senior citizens in the town of Morgantown? Right off the top of your head.
Don't know.
Because,
I'm one.
but, yeah,
Walter's one.
but
He's almost.
my thing is there are grants available, government grants, in order to help senior citizens maintain property and things, that have the volunteer service like younger people. I know when I was a kid and grew up, we always, our parents said, hey, go help this person or that person, which were elderly, so we did, but I guess that doesn't happen really anymore.
Got that right.
Well, I know that the churches have programs where they take their youth groups and they try to do as much. And so if you contact the churches, you probably would find someone that would help you out there.
I have something else I want to say. I think that person should be removed from the town board as a scrupulous contractor.
But I don't think,
Because we don't need an unscrupulous contractor and politician on the town board.
Sir,
We need honest people on there.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I thought, well, no, just, I told him that we really needed to talk to you privately.
come to me first. Oh, that's something that happened a couple of years ago.
Yes.
That was 3 years ago, actually, March the
It's meeting
23rd of 13.
I have a question. Could you tell me approximately how much this increase in the water bill is going to be?
We don't know yet.
Okay, well, how much is it going to be for homeowners to hook up this new water line?
New service is the 350, that's not changing. If you build a new house, you get new service, it's $350.
But there's no charge for
There's
existing
no
customers.
service for you.
Okay, well, that's all I wanted to know,
Just for new service.
but you don't know about the increase yet.
No, the most it would be $10, but it won't be that much.
You guys are lucky, Indianapolis got hit, my sewer bill and my increase was a lot more. When they put those new lines in,
Not when you live on social security, it's not.
well, I know, but you guys are coming out pretty good, but mine
Well-
went to like $60.
Well, when you're young, you're able to work, it's a lot different than when you're our age. You know, I mean, it sounds good, you know, you say that, but.
Oh, I'm sorry.